Okay, I know what you're thinking. A title like that sounds a little bit like a get-rich-quick scheme, doesn't it? But stick with me, because it's not. This is about a fundamental shift, a shift that pretty much every business owner dreams of, moving from just surviving, the daily grind of just keeping the lights on, to a state of truly, seriously thriving. We're going to break down how strategic planning can be the engine that gets you there. Sun Tzu said this centuries ago, and wow, is it brutally true for so many small and medium-sized businesses today. You're working insane hours. You're putting out fires left and right, making endless calls. But is all that activity, all that noise, actually getting you closer to a win? Or is it just the sound of a business running in place? That's the core problem we're going to tackle head on. You know the feeling. The pressure is just relentless. Every single day feels reactive. You're dealing with suppliers, you're stressing about payroll, you're handling customer complaints, and then at the end of the week, you are just wiped out. But the business? It hasn't really moved forward an inch. Welcome to the SME survival trap. Does this sound a little too familiar? It's like you're on a treadmill, right? You're running faster and faster and faster just to stay in the exact same spot. You get so buried in fighting today's battles that you have absolutely no time or energy to even think about, let alone plan for, tomorrow's war. And without a plan, you can't make real progress. You just keep surviving. So, how do we break out of this trap? Well, let's start thinking like an architect. Before you can even dream of building a skyscraper, what's the first thing you have to do? You have to survey the land. You need a brutally honest, no-holds-barred look at where your business stands right now. No sugarcoating allowed. To make this all a bit more concrete, let's follow a company we'll call Brilbez. Now, they've been around for 50 years, a classic family business. But now, they are in deep trouble. Low-cost competitors are eating their lunch, a huge customer is threatening to leave, and maybe worst of all, their own customers are calling their products boring. Ouch. This is a classic case of a business that desperately needs a new blueprint. So when the leadership team at Brilbez finally takes that hard, honest look in the mirror, the data tells a really stark story. Look at this. They are fantastic with the numbers. I mean, well-financed, stable, they know their spreadsheets. But their engine for growth, marketing and innovation, it's basically running on fumes. And that's the trap. They're excellent at managing the business they have, but they've completely forgotten how to build the business they need for the future. And this leads us to a classic but incredibly powerful tool, the SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. For Brilbez, this just lays it all out on the table. They've got internal strengths, like their engineering know-how, but also huge weaknesses, like their terrible marketing. And externally, yeah, there are opportunities in new markets, but there are also massive threats from that new competition. This isn't just some boring business school exercise, folks. This is literally a map of your battlefield. Okay, so our architect has surveyed the land, they know the terrain. Now it's time to design the blueprint. And for a business, that blueprint isn't about concrete and steel. It's about your purpose, your vision, and your values. This becomes your North Star, the one thing that guides every single decision you and your team make from here on out. A real vision, a powerful vision. Isn't that fluffy corporate jargon we all roll our eyes at? Just look at what JFK did here. He didn't say, our vision is to be a leader in aerospace innovation. No way. He gave a concrete, absolutely audacious, and time-bound goal. That's a vision. It's a picture of the future so clear and so compelling that people will move mountains to make it happen. But a vision isn't just for aiming high when things are good. It's your anchor when things get rough. Churchill painted a pretty grim picture here, but he fused it with this unshakable resolve. So when your business faces its own darkest hour, and it will, a clear vision is the why that fuels your team to fight on, to never surrender. And ultimately, the most powerful visions, the ones that really last, connect what you do every day to a deeper, more human purpose. Dr. King's vision wasn't about logistics or policy, was it? It was about a better world. For your business, this means you gotta ask, beyond the profit, what is the dream you are working to make real? That's what gets people out of bed in the morning. Okay, so you've got your North Star shining bright. The blueprint is designed and it looks amazing. Now what? Well, our architect can't just admire the plans, right? They've got to pick up the tools and materials and actually build the thing. It's time to move from the why to the how. It's time to build your winning playbook. Now check this out. This is a fantastic tool for structured brainstorming. Instead of just, throwing random ideas at a wall and seeing what sticks, the Growth Cube forces you to think across 3 specific dimensions: your customers, your products, and your markets. And for each one, you just ask a simple question. Do we stick with what we have now, or do we build something totally new? It turns a chaotic mess of a brainstorm into an organized exploration of every single possible path to growth. And here's the really brilliant part. You don't just pick a random spot on the cube and hope for the best. No, there's a logical flow, a kind of spiral that starts with the lowest hanging fruit. You begin by simply getting better at selling what you already have to the customers you already know. Why? Because it's the lowest risk and it gets you the fastest return. Only after you've nailed that do you move to the next step, like expanding into a new town or tweaking a product. It's a step-by-step path to smart, sustainable growth. Your strategy also depends heavily on your position in the market. I mean, are you the market leader, the king of the hill? Then your job is to act like it. You build a fortress, you protect your position, you make it impossible for anyone to take your crown. But if you're the challenger, you can't go for a frontal assault. That's suicide. You have to be a guerrilla fighter, using speed, stealth, and agility to hit the leader where they're weakest. So the plan is designed, the playbook is written. But let's be totally honest, a strategy document that's just collecting dust on a shelf is completely and utterly worthless. The final, and frankly the most critical phase, is turning that blueprint into an actual standing structure. This is all about execution. And execution isn't some massive one-time event where you finish and you're done. Nope, it's a continuous cycle. You plan your strategy, you do the work, then, and this is key, you check your results against your goals. What's working, what's not, and finally you act on what you've learned, you adjust, and you refine the plan. See? Strategy isn't a noun, it's a verb. It's a living, breathing process of constantly learning and adapting. So what this all boils down to is actually pretty simple. Building a business that doesn't just survive, but truly thrives. It's not about luck. It's not something that just happens to you. It's the result of deliberate choices. It comes from surveying the land, designing a bold blueprint, and then executing that plan with discipline day in and day out. Your company's future isn't written for you. You are the architect. So the only question left is, what will you choose to build?